Hi there, I'm Becca Feakin with Amazing Paper Grace. I'm also a licensed designer with Spellbinders. So if you've been watching my videos lately, you know that I released shadow box vignettes. I've shown you how to make simple frames, and you may be wondering, where do the vignettes come into play? Well, today I'm here to tell you that and to share that with you. In my collection, I have some dies that are called layering scenes, so I want to show you the layering scenes. Here's a frame, and then here are some dies that are the layering scenes. I've designed Shadowbox so that these layering frames can be seen inside the frame. And so there are two different ways to cut this arrangement. The first way, you're actually going to take a rim, like this, and you're going to take the inlay and hold them together. I typically use washi tape. So put them together like so. So I'm going to actually take the die and put it on a piece of paper and run it through with the rim to show you the results that you get. And typically this is something that you would emboss just to give it that extra dimension. And it's going to look like this, and it's embossed. Well, layering scene comes into play because you're actually going to stack two. So I've gone ahead and I've cut the second one, just like this. All right, well, so there's also a different way to cut with this set of dies. This particular piece is simply an inlay. So with an inlay, you're going to cut it and it doesn't release from the paper. This is how it will work. I'll take a piece of paper that's the size of my frame, and then I'll center this to the best of my ability, like so. Washi it down. Go to the die cut machine. With this presentation, the die is actually going to stay in the paper, and it gives it a really floating kind of look. There we go. And there we are. Well, so you would wonder, how do I get that into a frame? And basically, we're going to score around it. So let me just move my die cutting machine out of the way, and I'll bring it in. A score tool. I'm going to score 3/4 inch in from each edge so that this will float in my frame. There we go. Inch, and 3/4 inch. Okay. So now I'm going to trim out each of these corners that are on the edge, just with a pair of scissors. Now I wanted to get this centered, and I know that I want it to be pretty low, so I am actually going to trim each edge to 1/4 inch. If this were the presentation that I were putting in my frame, I would come to the edge and score each of these lines so that I have a little bit of a box, like so. Then I'm going to bring in my frame, and I'm actually going to just set it right in the frame, and it's going to sink all the way to the bottom. And so I will take the other piece and I would do the same thing, you know, if I wanted to get a full scene that had some depth in it. But that's not what we're doing today. We're actually going to stack our other elements. So let me show you that. So I'm going to pull this back out. That's one of the ways to do it. And then here's the other way. Remember, I cut these two pieces? Well, we're going to stack them up. And typically, I'm going to want the words to be on top. So I'm going to turn them over, and then I generally reach for some foam tape. I want a double layer because I want a lot of depth in this. So I'll pull off a bit of the tape. I will let it stick to itself. That's what I'm going to be working with. cut that off. This is a little bit too wide to go where I need it to go, so I'll just take a pair of scissors and trim down the center to get the width that I want. Then I can start to apply it. I'm releasing the liner, and I'm actually going to lay this in so that you wouldn't see it if you're looking at it from up above. And I'll trim it. I am going to do that on both sides. So I'm going to have foam tape on the left side, on the right side, above and below. Okay. And so I'll also put a piece here and a piece here. I've already done this on a couple of pieces, so I'm going to show you what it looks like. That's a piece that's prepared, and this is a piece that's prepared. So what I would do with these after this is I would go ahead and pull the liner off. Let me just get my little knife and coax that up. Okay. And I'll get this piece. The doubling of the tape really gives it some depth and dimension. It actually looks like you're looking into a scene, and this is my favorite way to use the layering scenes because they were designed so that you could see everything. So I'm actually going to just set that in just like that, and it sets away from the back enough that you get a shadow. So now I'll prepare this piece. All right, and so then as gently and as accurately as I can, I'm going to lay this right over top, and it's going to create that scene. Now to finish up the card, I would typically come in with a couple of flowers, which I have here, and I could just see this sitting on somebody's desk. So there's also an easel, and this is what the easel looks like when it's prepared. I've removed the bottom, and I've gone ahead and I've put tape here. So on the back side, I'm going to take, and about 1/8 of an inch from the bottom, I'm just going to let these tack on, and now I have an easel. So let me just show you what that looks like from the back. It's really darling. And that just holds everything in place. So that's what we're looking at. This is the Shadowbox vignette. And what we've done is we've added layering frames. So thanks so much for letting me share how you use layering frames with the Shadowbox vignettes. Now, if you've not seen how to put a whole Shadowbox together, check out one of my other videos.